Buda Baker makes history by signing the biggest contract that a safety has ever had in the
For now.
NFL. Is he really worth that much money, or are safeties in general really worth that much money? Talk some NBA stuff. The Pacers and the 76ers should be embarrassed. They both fired their head coaches. What's next for them? MLB, I got you with my power rankings for this week. And I'm gonna tell ya, I got something about Mike Trout that I've been working on this for a few days now. I'm gonna tell you the biggest mistake that he will make in his career, and it's something that he has already done. Then in the UFC, we're going to talk about Frankie Edgar and Pedro Munoz, who actually won that fight, and Francis Ngannou saying that heavyweight for John Jones is going to be easier than light heavyweight. Oh boy, we'll see if there's any truth to that. But like I said, Buda Baker, we're going to get things started off with him. He signs his extension, 4 years, $59 million, highest paid safety in NFL history. Jalen, you gave me this crazy stat as we were putting this thing together.
Yes.
Doesn't have an interception, but he led the league in tackles last season with 147 total tackles. And now, I'm going to ask you the question, is he worth the money? First, give me your biased answer.
My biased answer, we could have probably gave him less money and kept him, but I'm not mad at it. He's a guy you're going to keep around. He doesn't have interception yet, but I feel like with the defense that we have now and the people we have now, he's going to get an interception at some point. It hasn't been costly. Like him not having an interception has not been costly. It's not like he's,
to be fair,
not in
he's
the right
also had a
spot.
few called back too.
Yes, he has had a few called back also, but it's
Now your unbiased opinion.
yes. I still think that he isn't. I mean, that he's worth the money. I think that it's worth it. If I could have a safety get 147 tackles, and then even the season before as a part-time starter, almost full-time starter, I think he played 14 games the season before, 100 tackles, and that was just solo tackles. That was not including assisted tackles. But I think if you can find a dude to do like that consistently, which he has so far in his career, he has consistently been in the top half of safety tackles and tackles in general. I think you keep him. I think, he is more like a linebacker, but he has shown the ability to cover. He did have a game last year against George Kittle, which I think got criticized a lot, that George Kittle made him his son, which is the 49ers been saying.
Yeah.
George Kittle had 2 out of 5 receptions for 58 yards and a touchdown that game. That was actually one of his worst games of the season. I mean, it is George Kittle. He did have a great season, so he did have better games.
He got paid for a reason, you know?
Yeah, he got paid for a reason. But there's a lot of guys who are considered, I guess, better than Buda Baker who couldn't hold George Kittle to those numbers. So I think if you could find a guy who does that, plus adding to the defense of, you're hoping, I guess, Isaiah Simmons turns out well, he'll be able to be in a spot like that, allowing Buda Baker to be more free and worry more about coverage and then tackles and stuff like that, but not have to worry about, locking up a guy like George Kittle all game. I think that allow him to be free. So I think all around, biased and unbiased, I think he's worth the money as he's playing right now.
My take on this is when I first saw that, I was like, I saw a notification, I was like, wow, that's a lot of money for a guy like that, and for safety in general. My thing here is, it's really good that the Cardinals locked him up for 4 more years because they need him. He's been good over the middle, especially with his tackling ability. What kind of worries me a little bit is his coverage. Not saying that it's bad. Not saying that it's bad as a free safety. But there was kind of like a graph that I saw is like a hot and cold graph, like where it was blue in the places where he had good coverage, red in the places where most of the passes against him were caught, and there was a red spot in the middle of the field, and so that does worry me a little bit. Is the safety playing over the top, that he's still giving those up, but at the least he may be giving up catches in that area, but chances are he's still going to make the play, he's still going to tackle with the guy, he's not going to score.
And my thing about that graph, most of the routes caught in that were slant routes that were immediately then
that's
added to
what I'm saying, because
tackles.
He gets a tackle right there anyway, so they may get the catch, but he's always right there to make the play. Now, is he worth about $15 million a year? No, he's not. He's worth, I'd be more comfortable, maybe to the Cardinals he is. But in terms of the market, of the safety market in the NFL, he's probably closer to $12 to $13 million a year. I know it's only like $2-3 million off, but that does make a difference in contracts. That does definitely make a difference. I'm sure, Ryan, you can agree that $2-3 million is different.
Yes, that is the difference between signing another depth player.
Yes.
To add just in case of injury.
Exactly.
My whole thing.
I think he's worth it to the Cardinals. To the Cardinals, this is a decent value. Now, like you said, I do think the Cardinals could have got him for a little cheaper, but this is around the cost that they were going to be paying for him. So I'm okay with it. It's a market. It's a little overvalued. More so as just the Cardinals overvaluing him, but he's still a great asset that the Cardinals have locked up, so that's a good move on their part.
I think my whole thing with the market is I think this is smart because it's coming up to where this season and next season, off season, safeties are about to start getting paid. Jamal Adams is about to get paid. Justin Simmons is about to get paid.
Yep.
Minka Fitzpatrick's probably going to get paid.
Glad you talked about that because this contract has essentially, breaking news. This is what John Elway's reaction to seeing this contract. Oh shit, we're gonna have to pay Justin Simmons now, which is this exactly because it's a Broncos fan. They better pay Justin Simmons. He's on the franchise tag right now. They better extend it because he is one of the best, if not the best, safety in the league right now. Easily one of the most underrated players. And I'm not even biased. I think, Jalen, you could give me a little validation.
He's one of the top ones. I would say Jamal Adams is the best safety in the league now.
But he's definitely up there. He's underrated.
He's up there.
Too.
I would definitely put him in my top 5 of safeties in the league right now.
The Broncos are going to have to pay him a lot more money now, probably more than $15 million a year. He's probably going to have to be making closer to $16 a year. And that is rough.
So my whole point of why this was a good move by the Cardinals is the safety market is about to go up. We know Tyrann Mathieu he signed, I think it was 3-year, $49 million. So with that going on, safeties are going to be looking to get paid now because the Tyrann Mathieu, I think last year set the mark for where safeties are going to be expected to be paid. So getting this in early before all the other big names get paid, the other big names are going to be requesting more. So the fact that they got him before, because let's say they waited. If they would have waited and then he has another Pro Bowl season, does get like 5 picks, plus still has 147 tackles, he's going to be like, I want $20 million.
Right?
They saved themselves money
the Cardinals,
in the future.
By overpaying now or underpaying later.
Because of inflation, yes.
Because of inflation, yes.
They're putting in inflation.
Fourth one, we're not only just a sports podcast, but we're also an economics podcast.
We're going to start doing a weekly stocks update.
Oh, hell. I'm a business major, and I don't even want to talk about that now.
I'm not a business major, and I don't like looking at my stocks. My stocks are down $5 right now.
There's a reason I sold all my stocks before this whole COVID thing hit.
I bought my stocks after COVID started. I got a nice Twitter stock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I've just been staying away from it because I don't know what the hell is going on. And personally, I don't have enough time to pay attention.
Invest in California fire safety.
Oh, yeah. Well, you only need it every year.
Once a year.
And also, speaking of safety and safeties. Ooh, how's that for a segue, Jalen? Let's talk about Earl Thomas. Oh, oh boy. This is, Can we say that this is a bit of a messy situation of what happened in Baltimore? So, not only... So, he was officially cut on Sunday after a skirmish, we'll say, on Friday's practice. And also on Thursday, the day before the skirmish, he was late to practice because he had to go wash his car. And that's... And that's not even the joke. Not even the joke. That's actually what happened. So there's been some stuff leading up to this. The Ravens cut him, and the key to this story is that since they cut him due to, I guess, actions detrimental to the team, they can file a grievance, and they likely won't have to pay $10 million that Earl Thomas was owed this season, which is going to save them a lot of money in cap space.
A lot of money. Yes.
$10 million
and
is
with the
big.
safety market as it is, they could try to see if they could slide somebody else, but they're gonna have to do it soon. If
Soon.
they want to grab somebody, I think they're good right now. They had a rookie that they drafted last year. I can't think of his name right now, so I'm not even gonna try.
That's
But
fair.
they had a rookie last year who had a decent season, who's gonna have a lot more playing time now that he's gone. So I think they're fine at safety overall. I'm obviously losing Earl Thomas is never a good thing, other than
Oh, well, also in terms of what you're going to get from him on the field, that's bad. But if he's doing like this, maybe in the long run, it's going to be better for them to not have this kind of. I don't want to call it Earl
it's for
Thomas.
the culture.
Yeah, I don't want to like say anything. I don't want to badmouth him. That's not my goal. But as a team, you don't want a guy who's going to be late to practice because he had to wash his car. That's not the culture you want. That's not the person in the locker room you want. Especially with what the Ravens are trying to build there, a fairly young team, you want to keep that culture strong, and you don't want like any sort of cancers or potentially Antonio Brown type people in that locker room to ruin it.
I don't think he's on that level yet.
Oh, not yet. Hey, there's always a chance. There's always a chance, but also it's going to be very hard to reach Antonio Brown levels. But the thing is about this is now the question is, where does Earl Thomas end up? Apparently, according to Ian Rappaport, it's not the Cowboys. Compared to everything we've heard, it's not the Cowboys. Ian Rappaport came out and said that likely the Cowboys are not interested. Jerry Jones then denied it and said that Rappaport, quote, doesn't know what he's talking about. Which then Ian Rappaport then replied to on Twitter, just saying a bunch of like, pretty much like trying to insult Jerry Jones back and saying he was right with one thing, with like, he said that he was right about Dak Prescott only signing a franchise tag. He called this about halfway through the season. But also to that point is that almost everyone saw that coming. So this is it's kind of funny seeing this go down.
He's not really predicting anything. He's kind of just saying what everyone else is thinking.
Wait.
Like, I'm a genius.
Jalen, I have a prediction. Bill Belichick is going to find a way around the rules this season.
Yeah. At some point.
I mean, yeah, it's a prediction. It's like, hey, Jalen, I think that the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs each are going to win 8 games at least.
Ooh, okay. At least combined?
No, individually.
Oh my God.
See, on this show, I know everyone knows me as a hot take guy, but this might be the...
I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Okay.
I guarantee quarterbacks will out-throw wide receivers in passing touch large margin this season.
Hold up. Time out. Slow your roll. I'm sorry, Jalen. I hate to burst your bubble, but that's just fantasy land, man. That will never in a million years happen.
See me in a couple months.
Okay, Jalen. Here we go. I'm going to one-up you on this one.
All right.
There will be more offensive touchdowns scored than defensive touchdowns this season.
Get out of here. This is impossible. I'm packing up. I'm not on the rest of this episode.
Just quit. Breaking news. Jalen quits fourth and long over Ross Allen's too bold of a prediction.
Nah, I can't touch that one. That one's too hot. That's too hot.
Too hot.
My prediction, my non-Ian Rappaport prediction.
Okay.
I think that Earl Thomas, based off of something I saw, and I know this is a limb today, but today, Tony Jefferson, who is now a free agent, he played for the Ravens for like the last 3 or 4 seasons. He said he wouldn't sign with the Browns even if they offered him a bunch of money because they're in their division. It's crazy rivalries. It's heated. He would never sign with a rival. So I think out of pettiness, Earl Thomas, now mad at the Ravens, will sign with the Browns now that Grant Delpit has injured and tore his Achilles, I believe. They now need a safety.
He's out for the season.
Earl Thomas can now. I don't know if he's out for the season. I think they said he'll be able to play if they make it to playoffs. But
it's a hard maybe. He tore his Achilles.
Yes,
and that's about 9 months right there. So he's going to be out at least for 2 weeks.
Yes, at least. Hot take.
Full prediction. Yeah, I don't think he comes back from his injury. And I think it's going to take at least a month for him to come back from torn Achilles.
At least. But I just think Tony Jefferson looks at it like that, and I think Earl Thomas sees that today because
That's Earl Thomas' thing to do. I mean, he's only the guy that flipped off his own sideline being carted off the field.
Yeah, and then yelled, "Come get me!"
That ran up, no, not even just yelled, ran up, hugged Coach Jason Garrett, and said, "Come get me."
And walked with him into their locker room, not even his own locker room, and said, "Come get me."
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm not putting that any bit of pettiness. I'm not putting it past Earl Thomas. So
and I think another hot take right here. I'm gonna say Antonio Brown is gonna sign with the CFL just in spite of the NFL. Boom.
Okay, the CFL isn't even having. That's even more bold because the CFL isn't even having a season this year.
Yeah, exactly. Then he's gonna be like, and I took another year off, and I still go. He said took a year off like he did it on purpose.
Right. Let's finish our NFL stuff with one more hot take, and that hot take is that Cam Newton is the best quarterback in Foxborough.
Wow. Yeah. No. Oh god.
Okay, so the reports is really
Jared
just coming off of Cam Newton. He's clearly the front runner in the quarterback competition, if you want to call it that. It's hardly a race, Chief. Hardly a race. Whereas we even had Edelman posting a picture with like him as Batman and Cam Newton as Superman. So I think it's pretty obvious who's going to be the starting quarterback in New England.
In my opinion, just to put this into sports terms,
yes.
If anybody watched the last Olympic, I don't know if it was Olympics, but it was a track. It was like international track meet, and I believe it was Sweden. It was a mixed gender race, 2 boys, 2 girls. Sweden decided to run their 2 boys first to take a big lead and hope that their girls ran fast enough to beat everyone else. In that race, they were then caught up to by everyone and finished, I believe, in 4th place. If anyone's seen that video of Michael Cherry running past that poor lady at full speed, that's what it's like with Jared Stidham and Cam Newton right now.
Well, who are we really surprised? We had the quarterback room with Brian Hoyer, who is he's not a bad quarterback, but there's a reason he's a journeyman. You know, there's a reason to it. Then you have Jared Stidham, that's never had a regular season game. And then you have former MVP Cam Newton, one of the biggest players, the most athletic players, that at least quarterback, that the NFL has seen. And the guy that took his team to a Super Bowl going 15-1 in the regular season. And he's the one leading the quarterback race this year.
He's also players on their roster.
Are we supposed to be surprised by this? I mean, come on. Well, you really thought Jared Stidham and Brian Hoyer were going to do better than Cam Newton? No. And Jalen, guess what?
What?
No. This isn't news. This is hardly news, but I think it's just fun to poke fun of.
Yeah, Cam Newton's going to win that. The only way he doesn't have it is if he gets injured or he slaps somebody's mom on the team. And even then, I think he'd still start the next week.
But also, before we move on to our NBA stuff, if we want to talk about Cam Newton, related to the Panthers have already signed former Houston Roughnecks quarterback MVP J. Phillips. And then also... MVP J. Walker, because I was getting ahead of myself, because the duo is back, the best quarterback wide receiver duo that the XFL has ever seen, and I don't even think that's hyperbole. Cam Phillips has been signed to the Panthers, and so that duo is back. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater's looking really good at camp. Probably not going to see MVP J. Walker this season. Too bad that there's no regular season or preseason to watch him play. But
so bad.
The Dream Duo is back. Okay, so the Panthers Super Bowl champs confirmed.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a bad hot take.
No, that's a hot take. That's a real hot take right there.
That's a real hot take. Take notes, Ian Rappaport.
That's how you do it, Ian. That's how you do it. Okay. Just
hey, try to talk to me on Twitter. You've seen me trash talk people on Twitter. I destroy people, Ian. Come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro. Hey, Ian, I'm coming for your check mark, bro.
Coming for that check mark.
I'm taking that check mark from it. I'm putting it next to our name. There's nothing you can do to stop me.
Yeah.
Imagine if you could do that. Duel someone on Twitter and steal their verification mark.
We win every time. We're elite.
Elite. And we're more elite than Joe Flacco, and that really is saying something, because Joe Flacco is elite. Now,
Jeff Flacco is the poster boy of elite.
let's talk about some NBA, Chief. With the playoffs. So, the 76ers, they get swept by the Celtics. And man, oh man, should they be embarrassed. After this, they fire their head coach, Brett Brown. The thing is, though, with the 76ers, here's where they went wrong, Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't trust the process. They failed in trusting the process. They were
pretending.
They're like, hey, the process is a cool thing. It might work. But no, you want the process to work, Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta trust the process. You gotta be 100% in on the process. And
100%.
I think I'm saying a record for most times I've said the word process in a single podcast. Process.
I don't think you've been into a high school lunch cafeteria.
I say the way I ate outside for a reason because.
Yeah, that was a less processed.
Our time out. Yeah, that was. This is why I'm doing fast food, Jalen, because I don't trust the process.
Don't trust the process.
Don't trust the process. But your take on this? How bad do the 76ers look? And how? Oh yeah, I love that Kraft cheese. Trust the process.
It doesn't.
But also, how embarrassed should the 76ers be right now?
They should be pretty embarrassed. They got swept.
And these are two words of the show: embarrassed and process.
Yeah, they should be highly embarrassed about the process that they have embarked on over the last couple of years because it has gotten them nowhere. They haven't done anything with it. They said all everything about this big three that they had with Tobias Harris, Ben Simmons, who can't shoot a three until all of a sudden just now, and he still barely made any threes, and Joel Embiid. Mm-hmm. And they did nothing. And you know how many teams would kill to have that big three?
I think the team on the T-shirt that you're wearing right now for all of our video viewers, for all of our non-video listeners who we love dearly on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere else you get your podcast from,
yeah,
Jalen Johnson is wearing a Sacramento Kings T-shirt.
Yeah, I don't like Ben. I wouldn't want Ben Simmons. I'll definitely check with Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris though. Ben Simmons doesn't fit, I don't think, in the Kings' playstyle. So.
See, they relate to the 76ers. I'll talk about the team that they relate to the most in a second. But the question I also want to ask is, could it be time for not a full process? We're not doing Trusted Process 2.0, but maybe just a minor rebuild. Maybe getting rid of one, maybe two names, getting a couple draft picks, and not fully restarting. But just kind of.
Yeah, just a little renovation.
Small process.
I think that they should trade Ben Simmons. I don't think Ben Simmons is the problem. I think he's a great for that team. Mm-hmm. But I think at certain points, something's not working. And while it's not his fault, you have to decide, do I want Ben Simmons or do I want Joel Embiid or Tobias Harris? Tobias Harris, if you get rid of him, you're not going to make a big difference. You already tried that out. Without Tobias Harris, it wasn't working out. So you got him. Now that you have him, you don't want to have just traded him for nothing. You're not going to get as much as you would get from Ben Simmons, and you can still get draft picks or somebody else to fill that role that Ben Simmons had and get somebody who plays better with Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris. So I think you trade Ben Simmons for, there has been rumors that the Cleveland Cavaliers have an offer that the 76ers won't be able to refuse for Ben Simmons. I think you take that offer. I think you've tried this process. It's not working. Time to make a big splash and take the deal.
You know what? Honestly, that works for me. That really does work for me. But the team I was alluding to is another team with tremendous amounts of talent, can really look good in the regular season, but once it comes to the postseason, especially over the past few years, it falls apart. It just doesn't work out, and that is the Pacers. The Pacers are becoming a perennial team that is making the playoffs, has talent, but they can never really do anything with it. They can never really put it all together into a complete package. Man, I'm really getting my money's worth with this pop guard tonight because, damn, there's a lot of P's. I have no idea why. It seems way more than usual. You don't got the pop guard on, Jalen, so you can't do as much. We're going to hear your pops. You can't hear mine. Shout out to pop guards everywhere. But why are the Pacers also in this situation, also fire their head coach, also might be looking for a small rebuild? Why are they so similar?
The Pacers are similar because they've also don't go by trust the process. They've been trusting a certain process since their Paul George era. And for a long time before that, they always have one really great player, and then they try to build a mediocre team around them of people who have splashes of great talent, and then sputter off near the end of the season and sputter off in playoffs. This year, their big player was who was their big? I don't know. I just forgot his name. I just blanked on his name right as I was about to say it.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Just keep talking.
yeah, but
Are you
their
talking
one
about
big
Victor
player.
Oladipo?
Yes, Oladipo. I don't know. I was like VO. I was, who the hell is VO? But Victor Oladipo. That
No,
was their
sorry,
big player.
he's not the big player. Their real big player, of course, is Doug McDermott.
All right, I'm gonna go back to talking about serious stuff here. And Ross can play around again later. But Victor
Bro,
Oladipo.
don't I am not gonna stand for your Doug disrespect.
Or we just go with Sabonis. Do you want to just go with Sabonis too?
That's another good D right there. DeMontis Sabonis. Oh.
Yeah.
What about?
But
I'm okay with that. I can respect
yeah,
that.
let's just stick with that. But yes, Victor Oladipo has been their star player. He's been winning games by himself. He's their lead scorer, and he's just been leading the team. And as we saw when he went down, they played decent, but never up to their potential. And when he came back, they played better, but never up to their potential. It's because they have a lot of players who are very they have bipolar game styles.
Mm-hmm.
One game they can drop 20 points to match Victor Oladipo's 36 points, and the next game they can't drop more than 9 points altogether, and they lose the game. Or Victor Oladipo scores 50 to keep them in the game. It just you can't live off that style. I feel like they're trying to go off of what I call the LeBron style right now. You get one big player, and you hope that he can heart the team through playoffs, which that doesn't work. There's not a lot of LeBrons in the league right now because there's one. There's LeBron.
Wow, Jalen, thank you so much for that high-depth analysis.
So what I'm saying is, if you don't have LeBron, stop trying to play like you have LeBron, Pacers.
Yeah, exactly. It's just weird with what happened in the playoffs. It was an entertaining first round of the playoffs. Of course, it's still going on. We still had the Clippers and the Dallas Mavericks with a really entertaining series. But Luka Doncic is he's something else right now. Then also you have a really it was competitive in the first game. Now it seems like the Lakers are just trying to kill the Blazers, and so that's something.
And Damian Lillard is supposed to be out. So let's see if the Trailblazers get eliminated tonight.
Mm-hmm. And now we record this after the show. We're putting this in real quick, but Jalen just wanted to kind of have a small statement on what happened in the games on the day recording the 26th that we record episode 49.
Yes, at this point, when we recorded originally, the games had not been postponed yet. But yes, around sports right now, a lot of sports have been canceled. Were not canceled, boycotted by the players due to some social injustice going on. And while we're not going to really be able to talk to it at this moment because we are still waiting on the developments of what's going on, the games have just now been postponed. We want to say that we do understand what the players are doing, and we do agree with them on staying there for what they believe in. We will update you guys on this development as it continues.
And now some MLB coverage. We're getting real close. But here, Jalen, my power rankings for you. Now, to be fair, you probably won't like my number one. But you'll just have to accept it, okay? Because as we all know, every single power ranking we do for the show, whether it be NFL, XFL, MLB, NBA, I give you my power rankings, and it's pretty much just, that's kind of the fact of the law. And Jalen, you can either agree or disagree with me, but at the end of the day, I'm right. And you know it, okay? So we're going to start this thing off with number 5. One fairly hot team in the league right now is the Tampa Bay Rays. The Tampa Bay Rays are looking they're looking good right now. They are leading the AL East right now by 2.5 games. They're 8-2 in their last 10, 21-11. They're looking damn good right now. Whereas the Yankees kind of halted a little bit. So the Rays are looking good. They're not higher because it's kind of been this recent hot streak. Recently, in this last week, took over the Yankees, but they're definitely a team to watch out for. Next, in number 4, is the leader of the AL Central, and that is the Minnesota Twins. You know, it's I was hard on this one. I kind of want is hard between choosing my 4 and 5 because it was between the Rays and the Twins. The Rays have a better last 10 games, but my thing is if they played right now, kind of like when I'm in this tiebreaker kind of thing, when they're really close and starting to make a decision, the way I go about it is hypothetically, if these two teams play each other right now, who would win? And I do believe that as the Twins right now. I believe they just have a little more of that firepower offensively.
Agreed.
Number 3, the team that got overtaken by the Rays. You might notice this is a American League heavy top 5 because, if we're being honest, they're just a better league right now. they really are. But I have the Yankees is my number 3 team. They've kind of been lacking a little bit, 5-5 in their last 10. They've dropped 2.5 games back behind the Rays. But at the end of the day, it's still the Yankees. They still have a tremendous pitching staff, and they still have the combo of Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton. And Jalen, they're called the Bronx Bombers for a reason, right?
Bombs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
It's still the Yankees.
That's all I have to say about them.
It's hard to count them out, though. It really is hard to kind of keep them low.
My opinion on the Yankees is they're at number 3 because they hit dingers.
Yeah, dingers, especially in today's day and game, dingers win you games. Straight out, if you can just hit
games.
Dingers win games. Now, number 2, a team that if I was biased, which I'm not, by the way, no bias ever with me, Jalen, you know, never. If I was biased, I put them number 1, but since I'm so not biased, I decided to keep them number 2, and that is the team that was the first team in the American League to reach 20 wins. They are one of the hottest teams in baseball right now, and their pitching staff is kind of hit or miss, but when it hits right, and that offense, when it's going, it's going. That is the team from the Bay. That is the Oakland Athletics. Oh man, are they looking? They're looking solid right now. They really are. 22-10 right now. 4.5 games above the Houston Astros. 6-4 in their last 10, like I mentioned. A really good home record. Not as good as away, but they got something going there in the Bay, Jalen. And this is a team that could, if they keep this up, they can really make some noise this postseason, which is something I am so happy about.
Honestly, I kind of wish the playoffs were starting today. That'd be nice.
Oh man. As long as A's this year don't lose, because not a lot of people know this, but it sucks being A's fan because they have lost literally their last 9 elimination games in a row. And so if they make it 10 this year, I think I might just quit life.
It's an even year, so.
Shut up with the even year stuff, Jalen. It's where you Giants fans never stop. It could be the year 3000. The Giants haven't won a World Series in over 980 years. And they'll still say, it's even season, bro. Anything could happen.
Just saying, we've only had about 2 bad even seasons since the last time we won a World Series. So,
hey, Jalen. I hate you so much.
Let's just get to number 1 team so I can talk trash.
All right. The number 1 team I have was the first team in the league to reach 20 wins this season. They are currently leading the National League West. They are the best team in baseball right now. It is the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's your trash talk you want to talk. Just boo.
Nah, all I'm saying is the Giants is on your ass, son. We're coming for you. 7-game win streak. You know what I'm saying? We have a win.
7-game win streak, just like his main games as they are back from the Dodgers right now.
Yeah, that's besides the point. Right now, what do you mean
that's besides the point?
Let me talk, man. Let me talk. The Giants is winning the season right now. I mean the series right now against y'all. We 3-2. We play another game tonight, and we play another game tomorrow, and then we gonna take the lead. And I'm saying that's our last 2 meetings for this season. Y'all finna die.
Well, there you go. Jalen does not like the Dodgers. Who would have thought?
Go Giants, go.
The team I really want to talk about, though, and highlight is they barely missed the top 5. but man, have they been streaking. I mean, they only hit 5 Grand Slams in 6 games, so no big deal. The This is so weird. The San Diego Padres are the 6th best team in baseball right now. They're one of the better hitting teams in the league, and who the hell would have thought the Padres would even be in the conversation of top 5 team in the league right now? Okay, no, not even you, Jalen. Not even you.
No, actually, if we go back and look at our MLB predictions, I predicted that the World Series be the Padres and the Rays.
Yeah,
so.
Whether that be, I thought you said the Braves.
I thought I said Padres and Rays.
You
Did
said
I say
Braves. You said Braves, but I'll give you credit. Oh. You were fairly hot on the Padres. I did have some of their rookies as my rookie year, so Padres are looking good, and their fans actually have something to look forward to for the first time in the last 10, 20, 30 years. Who knows? How long has it been since they've been close to being good? No one ever really knows.
But it was the Big Bang.
Congrats, Padres fans. You got something to live for. But here we go, Jalen. Here,
you meet the Giants.
Let me sit up in my chair. Let me adjust my camera up so my head's in the shot when I'm sitting all the way up. And okay, that's way too high for you. You don't need to do that. But let me stretch the arm, stretch it back to it was back day, so I'm a little tight. But it's
couch day.
It's time for my kind of Mike Trout conversation soapbox idea. I know a friend of the show, Ray, has been looking forward to this one. And so let's hope I don't disappoint, because here we go.
I'm going to get in on the ads.
I just got one thing to say about Mike Trout, Jalen. And you might have seen the agenda, might have not seen this part. But my statement, something I've been thinking about for a little bit now, is
yes.
Mike Trout signing his new contract in 2019 is the biggest mistake that he's going to make his entire career.
Just to give the details on that signing. That signing was 12 years, $430 million extension. I was about to say extinction, because that's what we're thinking. Extension.
In 2020, guys thinking something else right now. But no, but Mike Trout signing that contract extension is the worst decision he could have ever made. Because the thing is, no matter what team he's on, he's going to be winning MVPs. He's going to be winning batting titles. He's probably going to be getting stolen base titles. He's going to be winning defensive titles. He's going to be getting any single individual accolade that you can get, because no matter what team he's on, he's still Mike frickin' Trout. He's still going to be the best baseball player to ever play the game once it's all said and done with his career. But at the same time, there's one thing that he'll never be able to do with the Angels, Jalen. One thing he'll never be able to do is he could have all these individual accolades. He could have 10 MVPs by the time he retires. But he will never, as long as he's playing in Los Angeles, he will never have a World Series ring. And I could guarantee that.
Yeah, unless they pull off some damn good trade for everybody else.
See, the thing is, so the Angels, to be fair, the Angels had to give them a little respect. They do have some championship pedigree in their organization. They did win one World Series since their creation in 1961. There was still a championship.
I thought they were going to say they had championship caliber negotiators. Talking my Trout into signing that contract.
Good point, because they do have that. Obviously, I think Mike Trout was just being very nice, but in all the years of creation, ever since 1961, they have won one World Series. That was in 2002, and they won in 7 games against Jalen's very own San Francisco Giants. So, yeah, Jalen, congrats.
Yeah, but how many they got total?
No, they got that one. They have one World Series since 1961.
Yeah, that's it.
One World Series.
Trash.
And right now, they're currently sitting at the time of making this, they're 9-21. They're currently 19th in MLB average in runs scored a game with 4.75. They're currently 27th in team ERA with 5.3. And this is with Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, who's now second of all time in RBIs, Anthony Rendon, reigning NL MVP, reigning World Series champion, a big signing that they got this year. Shohei Ohtani, one of the greatest talents the greatest young talents the game is seeing right now. Maybe not right now because dealing with injury problems, but in terms of the talent that he has, it's insane. Justin Upton, Gold Glove winner, and a lot of other players on the team. There is talent on the Angels, but they suck. They suck.
They suck so bad.
That's even with Joe Madden as their manager. The Angels suck, and this is just the way the team is. There's always just some bad teams in the league. You got NFL, you got sorry Lions fans, but you got your Lions. In the NBA, you got you don't even need. You got your Knicks. You got
76ers.
Yeah, at least the 76ers can make it to the playoffs. You got your Knicks.
Yeah, then they get shit on.
Yeah, in the MLB. Or sorry, here I'll say the Angels for in the MLB. Of course, you have the Angels. And hell, you can even say Rays. You can say Marlins. You got a couple. Then in the NHL, you have always. It seems like you can't. I wish I could say the Golden Knights. I really wish I could, but
yeah,
that's just not the case. But in the NHL, you have your Buffalo Sabres.
Or the Canucks.
The Canucks are actually in the playoffs right now, which is something the Angels can't do. So you got that, but the Angels are a perennial losing team. They have a losing pedigree. They have a losing culture, if you want to say that. So Mike Trout, yes. The thing is, though, he was going to get paid no matter what team he went to. He was going to get all these individual accolades with any team he went to. But the thing is that he's not going to get a World Series ring with LA. He could have gotten a World Series ring with so many other teams in the league. So many other teams. And so, while he will go down as the greatest baseball player of all time, as long as he's on the Angels, he will retire without a single World Series ring. And at cold takes exposed, once the Angels somehow win something within the next decade or whatever, before the season Mike Trout retires, I am guaranteeing that Mike Trout, as long as he's on the Angels, will never win a World Series, and that's why him signing his contract was a mistake.
Yes. And the funny part is, when this contract first came out, a lot of people were saying that wasn't enough. You know how crazy that it is? 12 years, $430 million.
The problem with Patrick Mahomes saying $500 million contract is Mike Trout making this much money doesn't seem like that much anymore. Oh, yeah, $430 million is not that much, Jalen.
Yeah. Especially to stay in that shithole. Talking about the organization, I love you, LA.
No, at least they have a nice stadium. It's not like what they have in the Coliseum, the premier stadium of the MLB.
Ouch.
Now let's wrap things, Jalen.
Didn't that thing fall apart?
Multiple times.
Yes.
You only had the dugout slow but sewage, no big deal. But let's finish this show with some UFC talk, okay? So, UFC Vegas 7, Frankie Edgar make his debut in the bantamweight division, and he comes out victorious, winning by a split decision against Pedro Munoz, with the judges scoring this 48-47, 46-49, 48-47. Your thoughts on this? Did Frankie Edgar actually win this fight?
I think it was a really close fight. Mm-hmm. I think the judge who scored it 46-49 was an idiot.
If anything, it's 48-47 across the board in favor of either fighter.
Yes,
you know?
It could have gone either way. I think it could have gone either way, but I think it came down to who do you want to see right now, and I think if Frankie Edgar would have lost this, it would have looked really bad on the UFC.
I also do truly think Frankie Edgar won this fight in terms of striking.
I think he won.
In terms of control, in terms of, I guess, just accuracy. I do believe Frankie won this fight, and he also won the damage as well. He took less. Pedro Munoz, especially in a close fight like this, when you look like the more beat-up fighter, that's going to play a role in the judge's scoring decision.
And also, you have to consider that Frankie Edgar is one of those people, kind of like Nick Diaz and Nate Diaz, both of them. They both hit and they bruise and bleed very easily.
Mm-hmm. Saw that scar tissue build up.
Yeah, exactly. So he was kind of beat up, but you could tell it was more just based off that's how he is.
No, Frankie Edgar won this fight, but the problem with this is now Pedro Munoz he's been whining to Dana White for an immediate rematch, and there's no way you get it. The next fight to make, it might be a dream fight, it might not be possible, but the internet's been saying this. I'm saying this. Frankie Edgar against Cruz, man. Edgar and Cruz. Edgar
Be
and
nice.
Dominic
I'd love to see
Cruz.
that.
Oh
Winner gets a
man,
championship shot.
wouldn't that be a fight? Wouldn't that be a fight?
Hell of a fight. I'd love to see it. I think it'd be a great fight to see. I've been waiting for Frankie Edgar to move down here for a while.
He looked good in his debut too.
He looked good.
I mean, Pedro Munoz, he's no slouch. He's good talent.
He has more time left in the sport than Frankie Edgar does, in my opinion. I think he has time to come back from this loss.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, I know the rankings are sometimes messed up, so
I don't think this fight hurt. I don't think this loss hurts Pedro
hurt
much anyway.
Yeah, so I think he has time to come back from this. But right now, I would love to see Frankie Edgar versus Dominic Cruz. And then winner gets the title shot after a couple other title shots, or at least one other title shot. So let's see where it goes.
Exactly. And now, last thing I want to talk about, Jalen, is Francis Ngannou. The scariest man maybe in the world right now. He has come out and said that he believes that the heavyweight division is going to be easier for Jon Jones. How much truth is there in that statement?
I mean, according to Stipe, who also came out a couple of days after and said that it's not. He said that you're underestimating the heavyweights. I kind of agree more with Francis. I think Jon Jones really, while people were saying he's scared, that's why he left the light heavyweight division. I think it's more, he is faster, he is stronger. He doesn't really, I know people were like mad about his last two title defenses at light heavyweight. They're very close fights, but I don't think he has anything left to prove there. He's beaten the old legends, he's beaten the current legends, he's beaten some of the newcomers. I don't think he has anything left to prove in light heavyweight, and I think he's still an amazing fighter. Gonna have a speed advantage. He's still taller than a lot of heavyweights, so that's still an advantage. He still has a longer reach than most heavyweights. He still hits pretty hard for a heavyweight, and his wrestling is still amazing. And he gets to put on more weight and not have to cut weight. So I think it'll be easier for him. I think some of the higher up guys will be more hard for him, and then obviously avoiding getting caught by the likes of Francis Ngannou, Derek Lewis, and people like that. I think that'll be harder for him because that can end a fight in one shot. But I think overall, if we're just looking at the division as a whole, I think the heavyweight division will be easier for Jon Jones.
This is tough. I disagree. My thing is on this. I was talking with Blake about this when Jon Jones first relinquished the light heavyweight title. We talked about this in our UFC 252 recap show. The thing with Jon Jones is that his advantage, not his only advantage, not his only asset, because he's an amazingly well-rounded fighter. I don't want to take anything away from him. But one of his big advantages in light heavyweight division is his height. He is taller than most people and there has a bigger reach than most people. And moving up to the heavyweights, that advantage goes away. Your top guys, so Jones is 6'4". Your top guys, Derek Lewis, or guys that he might realistically fight. Derek Lewis, 6'3". Francis Ngannou, 6'4". Stipe Miocic, 6'4". They're all the same height. They all have about the same reach. And they might be bigger guys as well. I mean, Jon Jones probably walks around at 235, I think, 225, 235. So that could be a good weight for him to be at in the heavyweight division, similar to the weight that Stipe is wearing. But also, another thing me and Blake talked about was UFC correspondent Blake Campbell. Thank you very much. Stipe was around 235 for his fight with Daniel Cormier. But if he was fighting, because it's probably better to stay lighter, so he could be a little more mobile, stay out of the wrestling of Daniel Cormier. Now, if he was to fight a guy like Jon Jones, he'd probably weigh in closer to 240, 245, maybe even 250, depending on how he's looking. Because that weight will be hard for Jon Jones to really go against. And then also there's just flat out more power in the heavyweight division than there is in the light heavyweight division. And there's more... Now, of course, in light heavyweights, there is that one-punch danger, but that's way more so in the heavyweight division.
Yeah.
It's what?
I said it's not as imminent in the light heavyweight division.
Exactly.
But I believe my whole thing about why I think Jon Jones is going to be able to take over the heavyweight division is, when's the last time you saw Jon Jones tired?
Mm-hmm.
And then when's the last time you saw Stipe gas? I would say Francis Ngannou, but he gets, yeah, but Francis Ngannou doesn't get tired. We've seen Derek Lewis
Well, the
gas.
problem is we don't really know about Francis Ngannou because his
Yeah,
last
he
fight
hasn't
down
gone that far.
went 5 rounds was with Stipe.
Yeah,
So
and Stipe dragged him though
most of
because
the
he was a good wrestler.
exactly, and most of them, most of his fights don't make it out of the first, so it's
Yeah.
hard to see his cardio. Derek Lewis, his cardio did look a lot better against Let's Go or in his last fight. So
Yes.
who knows? But
you
that's
never
a
know.
good point. The cardio is a big factor. I think John Jones, he will have success in the heavyweight division. It'd be interesting to see a matchup with Stipe Miocic or Francis Ngannou would be very interesting. It's hard because right now, I'd probably have to side with the current heavyweights until John Jones proves me otherwise. I know that's a hard statement to make because he is the one of the greatest pound for pound fighters of all time. Some people may consider him the GOAT. But it's hard to bet against the guys that have cemented their reign in the heavyweight division right now. You know,
I have a hot take real quick.
hot take.
I think
Is this a serious hot take?
It is serious. I think Stipe and Miocic is the easier fight for John Jones than Francis Ngannou would be. Because I believe Francis Ngannou is obviously a way stronger puncher than Stipe.
Yeah.
I think Francis has a better chance of knocking him out on the feet. John Jones will try to take him down, but if he gets caught by one of those punches, he might go to sleep.
But also,
If
be hard
Stipe-
if he tries to take him down. Francis is heavy. He cuts weight to make the 265-pound weight
Yes.
limit, which is
But I
stupid.
I believe him fighting Stipe. I believe he's a better wrestler than Stipe, especially
Mm.
if he can be at a higher weight than what he usually is, around 205. He's a better striker than Stipe overall. So I think that he can beat Stipe just based off of they have similar skill sets, but I believe overall John Jones is better in both. He's just not used to the heavyweight weight, which is what I have to see to be 100% sure about it. I think Ngannou, no matter where he was fighting, that strength is just unbelievable and out of this world. He can knock anybody out. So that's just the chances of him getting clipped by Francis are higher than him just getting beat in a 5-round battle with Stipe.
Very fair. All I know is this isn't a hot take. I just can't wait to see to see John Jones in the heavyweight division. Probably early next year. It's going to take some time for him because we still, according to Dana White, thank God we're getting, knock on wood, but we are getting Ngannou for the heavyweight, Ngannou and Miocic for the heavyweight title next, which is the only choice to make. That's the right choice. So it's going to be very curious, but man, I am excited to see John Jones in the heavyweight division, and every MMA fan out there should be excited as well.
Yep, yeah, I know they won't do it because the last thing you want to do is throw John Jones into a heavyweight fight and see him lose before he gets a title shot.
Him and Derek
But
Lewis.
I would say John Jones versus Curtis Blades while Francis Ngannou fights Stipe.
That could be fun. There's a lot you can do. This definitely opens up doors to so many fights we hardly really thought possible before this happened. But
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it for episode 49 of the Fourth and Long podcast. Of course, I've been your host, Ross Allen, joined alongside by co-host Jalen Johnson. It's been some very interesting stuff in the NFL, NBA. I said that twice. I mean the MLB, the UFC, and all the other fun stuff like that. Make sure to check out our stuff. Before we wrap, I just want to say thank you for making our interview with XFL cornerback coach of the Houston Roughnecks, Darius Bell. That was easily the quickest view to get to 100 views on our channel. Took like 3 days. Took 3 days to get to 100 views. And so that is phenomenal. Thank you so much for that. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. A lot of really good stuff. Talked about what the XFL was like in the 2020 season and what we're looking for in the 2021 season. A bunch of other stuff as well. Darius Bell, great man. Really good stuff right there. Also, we just released a we co-did a podcast about the AFL with the Cobra Cast, with the lads over in the land down under, located in Melbourne. That was a lot of fun. And then a bunch of stuff came out. Brand new T-shirt coming out very soon. Keep an eye on everything.
Get your merch.
Get your merch, man. It's nice merch. It genuinely is nice merch.
For sure.
And the tank top sizes, if you're looking for larges, they should be in stock soon. Just heard back from Teespring today. Should be in soon. So we're looking for that. But without being said, this has been the Fourth Long Podcast. You can find us www.thefourthandlong.com. Find us on Twitter at Fourth Long Radio, Instagram at Fourth and Long Radio. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, anywhere else you can find your podcasts. We're there. And I just want to say thank you to all the new countries that have been listening to us, because now, Jalen, we are a super international show, because of course we have our American audience,
our Irish audience.
We got the Irish audience. We have our Australian audience. We have our UK audience. We have, let me bring up all the countries for you. I think we have also, let's see, there we go. We got America, of course. God bless us.
Of course.
And you got Australia next.
Yeah.
Then we have, then we got Ireland in third. Then we got Canada, the UK,
yes.
Sweden. We got my boys in Slovakia, man. We got my Slovakians.
Shout out to Slovakia.
Shout out to Slovakia. And then also a shout out to my dudes in Brazil. So, Mr. Worldwide, this podcast is super international, and we still got the demographic of the 18 to 22 at 71% of our show. But
and like 98% male.
No, 97, Jalen.
97, we're moving up in the world.
Shout out to our 3% females. We love all of you. We thank you so much for listening to our show.
If you listen to our show, we love you.
Because we've just made over 1,000 total plays in like the last 4 months on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So
yeah, and Twitter's booming, and Instagram's booming.
Business is booming. That's the one good thing Antonio Brown's for, is because the business is booming. That's always fun. But, just make sure to follow everything. Everything will be linked. But, ladies and gentlemen, have a great time watching these playoffs. Have a great time watching the MLB. Have fun watching all the drama going in the NFL. And we will catch you all in the next one.